Guys, let us learn about some theory about how we can develop a chat app. What is generative AI, and what is the actual infrastructure we need to build applications like these, and what are the challenges about developing these apps. Okay, so for this section, first we are going to learn about what is generative AI, what are the LLMs, and how the overview of our app looks like, and what are the technologies we are going to basically use to develop this application, and some hands-on working which comes after this session. Okay, so a little introduction about me. I am working in data science, machine learning, business transformation field for more than 15 years. I have worked with various industries, including financial, constructions, and banking, telecom, and all those industries. So I'm working on this generative AI for the last couple of years, and yeah, so I have developed few applications. So I decided to basically run these workshops to educate people as well. Okay, so what is generative AI, and how what is the background behind the generative AI? So I assume that if you guys are in any field, data is the key point, and so we are going to basically develop applications on the data. So every organization, every company, every business, they have huge amount of data, and everyone is generating the data. But the question is what we are going to do with this data, and how we can basically build applications on the data. So in the first phase, where we can basically in this slide we are going to learn what path or what sort of steps someone should take to come up with the generative AI applications. So to give you the background, so the first layer is the data layer, where where we have to basically grab the data, clean the data, and store into structured and unstructured format. Data can be in the form of text, audio, video, and many other formats. So when you say structured data are mostly we store in the CSV files, Excel files, or in SQL databases, whether it's a relational databases or other form of databases. And recently we have seen a lot of different data platforms, Databricks and Snowflake. They come up with the innovative ways of storing and processing the data at scale. So the next step is, once you have the data, so we basically I categorize this one as an analytics phase, where you want to understand or develop some exploratory data analysis analysis techniques to see how the data looks like, and can we use this data to make some informed decisions about the business. So in this section, we also understand the quality and the data governance and other issues with the data setup. Okay, so analytics is a key step in a lot of organizations to basically understand how their business is basically behaving previously, and what sort of decisions they need to make this more profitable. And the next step, once we understand what's we understand about our data, and we understand the patterns and all those things, next step is that whether can we use this data to make some predictive decisions. So I categorize this as a predictive modeling. So in this phase of your framework, you basically develop models using your previous data to understand or to forecast your business outcome. So this is kind of predictive model. There are a lot of traditional models being developed using sklearn and other frameworks. Also, deep learning has been employed in this predictive section as well, where we basically develop supervised and unsupervised models, mostly using structured data. and of course we want to build some models on text as well, like want to predict some text or video audio data as well. So even that sort of a science comes under predictive as well, but we call this generative AI. So in generative AI, we mostly deal with text, audio, video sort of data being generated by human. So this field basically been researched for a long time, but actually it made a lot of noise in the industry after this having a lot of breakthroughs on the transformer and like architectures, and then we came to basically in the world where LLMs by OpenAI has been released, and yeah, so this is the phase we are basically now living in. Okay, so what is generative AI? So generative AI is a cutting edge field which we can use to generate a lot of text, image, music, and all other things from some model. So it works similar to our mind, where we can basically generate. It's not only remembering things. It's like using some sort of intelligence to generate human like data. So, what made generative AI possible to the stage where we are? It started back decades ago, but with the invention or with the availability of computing resources and algorithms like GAN, autoencoder, decoders, and transformer architectures. That's actually was the point where this field basically started making some real progress. So generative AI has a lot of applications, not only in generating text, but it can help us solving a lot of different problems in healthcare, medical, customer service, productivity, and all those different fields. It can help us a lot. So I have included a couple of examples in my slide to just give you an overview of some of the problems generative AI is able to solve. So one of the problem it solved recently is the headline reads like this: AI detects eye disease and risk of Parkinson's from retinal images. Another news was in the media was a boy saw 17 doctors over 3 years for chronic pain. Chat GPT found the diagnosis. So these are few examples. They are showing us the promising powers of this field, solving real world probleming and helping human achieve something which was not possible before this era. Okay, so what are the key elements of generative AI or the model? So we categorize uh, LLMs into four categories based on their use case or based on some applications we can build on. The first one is a prompt engineering. So prompt engineering actually is a technique where we basically instruct our LLM to generate content based on some instructions, and it helps LLM to think in a way we want LLM or model to think. Okay, and the second sort of applications where we develop is retrieval augmented generation. So what does that mean? It means that we basically uh, add some external information alongside the prompt into LLM to have some sort of answers. Okay, and then comes to fine tuning, where we basically fine tune our model to better understand the context of the task and behave in a specific way. So we could call this fine tuning. And of course the last one is the foundational model, where we develop a huge model using all sort of data available to predict different things. So this is a bare bone model which can predict whether it's a character or sentence or a word. And one of the key example, a lot of people are using this model called GPT-3, GPT 3.5, and GPT-4. These are basically the foundation model. On top of these models, we do have some sort of fine tuning or instruction tuning to make use of these models. Okay, so by the way, in this developing chat app applications, we will be dealing mostly with prompt engineering. So we will be working on a customized prompts to basically instruct LLM to generate results what we want to generate. So let's go quickly on the history of or survey of large language models. So it started with back in decades ago, but really actually it started having some form of usable models starting in 2019, and I think a lot of people came to know about these models with when OpenAI released GPT-3 back in 2020. That's where a lot of people started using it, and then all the big players came into the play and they started working on their own technologies. So recently, with the release of GPT 3.5, the game has been changed. A lot of new players came into play, like Meta released Llama 2, and of course another player called TII. This is the TII released Falcon and open source model with 180 billion parameters, and OpenAI released GPT-4 as well, which is of course a multimodal model having using more than a trillion parameters. Okay, so let's talk about our specific use case, chat with data using LLM. So in this slide, I'm going to discuss problem, challenges, and solution. So what is the problem? Problem is the current landscape of chat with data applications lacks the sophistications to provide context-aware intelligent responses, resulting in user frustration and limited engagement. And all these traditional data chatbots, they have predefined set of questions and answers, and they are constrained to work on those question and answer. They lack some sort of intelligence into those systems. And what's the challenge? So challenge is obvious. Technology is one of the key thing to basically a barrier to developing these sort of applications. With the release of LLM, so we think that the gap has been reduced, but still we are working on we have to work on some sort of algorithms to make these LLMs work with the data, because usually these LLMs, they can only generate text or code. They have limitations on solving problems, mathematical problems. Okay, what's the solution? So we can leverage LLMs uh, to generate some sort of context or code which we can run to have answer based on our human interaction. So a lot of models like ChatGPT, GPT 3.5 or 4, they are able to generate code very well, and we can use that functionality to generate the code, and work with data frames like Pandas, Polaris, or Spark data frames to get answers based on our question. So what sort of chat app cycle looks like? Let me quickly go through the cycle. So the first thing is the data grabbing. So you have to have your data, structured data in the form of CSV, Excel, or any other format. And of course you have to do some sort of pre-processing to clean the data, and have some sort of understanding what is your data about, because it will help you develop the application better. In the next step, you want to play with the data and develop a playground in Jupyter notebooks or Google Colab to develop the back engine, where basically you can test your logic, and in the next step you put that logic into the app and you have to decide what sort of front end you're going to use, whether it's a Streamlit or any other app, and make sure that your app works locally. And the next step, of course, Docker is a key element to deploy or your to basically pack your application into environment, so that you can ship this environment and it can work on any machine. And in the last step, you are going to deploy your application on public or public or private cloud, or GCP or Amazon, AWS or Azure, or any cloud you like. So this is 5-step procedures which you are going to learn in this workshop. Okay, so the app architecture. So the overall architecture of the app looks like this. So you have an input question. You ask the question into your application. So the application, has API access to LLM, which in this case is OpenAI LLM. It talks with the LLM and it gets the answer, and then it provides you the response. Okay, so let's discuss, spend few minutes in understanding what's actually going on behind this architecture. So we enter our question, that is called prompt. So that prompt actually goes into LLM API. So this LLM API can be OpenAI, StarCoder, Google, Azure, any other large language models can basically be used to interact this one. Okay, and along with our prompt, we also input some the structure or the metadata of our pandas data frame, so that it understands, takes the question and it takes the metadata from the data, and based on that it basically generates a Python code, and we run that Python code to generate or summarize our data, and then that result is either displayed to user, or if its option is in conversational form, then it goes back into LLM again to summarize the result and answers like we do want to see as a human. So this sort of framework we use to basically develop this application. So let me summarize again. So everything works is that based on prompt and your metadata of the data frame, LLM generates Python code. Python code is run on the machine, and it generates the results we want from our data. So technology stack for developing this application. So first of all, using in the playground, we are going to basically use a Python infrastructure, having access to notebook or Google Colab, and libraries like pandas or numpy. Backend and front end. For the backend and front end, we are going to use LangChain or PandasAI Python wrapper. So they basically are the high level wrappers. They will be able to help us talking to LLM APIs. And in this case, you can use OpenAI API, Google Form, Hugging Face Hub models, or any other models you have access to. For the front end, we are going to use a Streamlit. So Streamlit gives us a quick interface to develop chat apps. So that's Streamlit we are going to include in this as a front end. For the deployments, you can do either local deployment, you can do Docker deployment, Streamlit public cloud, or Google Cloud. So these are the technologies we are going to basically use in developing chat app. So app in action. So I have included a quick video on how to use this app. Let's run this. Hello everyone. So in this brief video, we are going to see how can we chat with data. So in this example, we have implemented two methods using pandas.ai and LangChain, and the backend we are using here is OpenAI API key. So first of all, we have to set the OpenAI API key. For that, you need a key.
आपकी आवाज़
So
सही नहीं आ
I'm
रही।
inputting my key here. So once you enter your key. The key is done. Then we have to select
Yeah, video
backend. Let's
recording.
select
Yeah,
Pandas
इस वजह
AI
से ऐसे.
first, and then we need to select a file. Let's select a file. So I have this data, which is information about the loan payments,
ये
and
एक्चुअली
once that
यूट्यूब
is
लिंक
loaded,
से
then we can ask
वीडियो
question
एग्जीक्यूट कर
here.
रहे हैं, प्ले कर रहे
Let's
हैं,
say
तो हम भी
simple
वहाँ से
question is
शायद
what
देख सकते हैं
is
अगर आप
this
वेट
data about? It will go interact with the Pandas AI API and will provide some answers
Kindly
about
mute कर दें बाकी लोग.
this one. So it says that we have some information
बेसिकली
about
वो
paid off loans,
वॉइस
collection, collection
हो
paid
रहा
off.
है
All
वो रिजल्ट में
right. So let's ask
श्वेत
how
सर,
many
आप म्यूट
loans
कर दें प्लीज.
ओके सर.
लिंक
have
शेयर है यूट्यूब
been
का, आप
paid
अपनी
by
तरफ से यूट्यूब चेक कर
man.
सकते हैं और ये वीडियो से आप ये सब कुछ देख सकते हैं बेसिकली।
जी जी, सही कहा है, ऐसे ही.
So it's gonna calculate it, and yeah, then it will show us that 247 loans have been packed different result. So this data is about loans. It includes data. So LangChain has better answer in this case. So let's ask this question. Print first five rows. So it should actually uh, print first five rows of the data frame. So in this case, you can basically in LangChain case, you can see how it's actually implementing. So see, so it's better in this case. All right, and yeah, so this is a brief tutorial. We do have a workshop coming. Okay, guys. Yeah, that was a video. I hope I had already recorded earlier and shared with you. So this is the app. Basically, we are going to build in a while. So this concludes my second session, and let's go to the next session where we are going to basically develop or do some hands-on using Google Colab how we develop this application.